All right, people of the world, how we doing out there? Doc Severson with you here. We have Mav. We are Ready, Set Crypto. We are live. Today's Wednesday, the 4th of August. Welcome aboard, everybody. Let us know where you're coming in from, and let's get the party started.
Should be a good party. Yeah.
All right, Najib is coming in from Ho-Ho. Maybe I read that wrong.
Yeah.
Lots of good things happening in the crypto space today.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice couple of weeks of price discovery happening. So I like what I'm seeing. All right, let's see. Buckhorn is coming in from Arkansas. We have Jasper in Germany. We have Michelle in Paris. We have the Colorado sports dude is from Colorado, ironically. We have Joshua is coming in from South Florida. Yeah. You're either Marv or you're Mac now.
I'll take what I can get.
Right. No, it's funny. We used to get, when I would do a solo webinar, I'd get people writing into the YouTube channel and saying, "Hey, where's Marv?" Welcome aboard, folks. Everybody get in here, and we'll get started. We'll finish up by the bottom of the hour or so. It's going to be short and sweet. We'll give our 2 thoughts on stuff. Start thinking about if there's any coins you want to take a look at via the technical analysis review that we do. And we have Slade coming in from Australia, the Gold Coast. Beautiful place. And it's Thursday there already. You guys are like a day ahead of us. You ought to let us know what's going to happen in the future.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, if you could also hit that like button, it helps us beat the algorithm. We're constantly beat down by that thing. So we really appreciate it. Help us get the word out. For those who, hopefully everyone has been here before, but for those watching who have not, or maybe it's been a while, we're ReadySetCrypto, and we are trying to basically be as unbiased and no BS as possible. We're just here to help you be a better trader or investor in the crypto space. That's our mission. Nothing more to it, I mean, there's a little bit more to it, but we're here to not tell you what to buy or anything like that. We never take promotion money or anything like that. We just call it like we see it. And
no bullshit, no shill, no nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So Ready Set Live is us about 30 minutes every week, just kind of giving you a sense as to what's going on in the market, some of the coins that we're watching, and what you should be paying attention to. So let's buckle in and have some fun here because the market is doing some interesting things. So let's quickly run through. I'm going to do almost like a lightning round of some of the stuff that I'm watching right now. Just because I think Doc has some interesting stuff to talk about from the market perspective, the charting perspective. So, I am unprepared. Sorry. There we go. This is my list for this week. And just as a refresher for those who, again, haven't seen this before, the list I am talking about right here is down in the bio below. Look for the little finger. It's a free website. It's our brand new service, ReadySet.vision, all about on-chain analysis, which is this really cool way to look at the markets, basically look at blockchain data and use that to make decisions and influence, basically you outsmart the market. I don't know. We're going to skip past that little preamble for today because I want to make sure we're going fast. But anyways, the motivation behind this week's list is coins, tokens that I believe are going to be doing some interesting things here in August of 2021. In particular, I'd like to talk about a couple of these guys. So maybe I'm going to jump over to this view. This might be a little bit easier for you to disseminate. But yeah, this is some projects that, maybe they've got a release coming out, or, they're doing a token swap or something like that. Pretty much a almost solid price catalyst, especially in a, we'll say frothy, maybe a little bit bullish market that we're starting to entertain right now. So for example, starting tomorrow, Aave, the founder and CEO, will be presenting at this, large smart contract event. And hey, maybe he'll make a big announcement or something. We'll see. But that's usually a good price catalyst. It's always good to see teams out and about. And Aave has definitely been in the spotlight a lot recently, so it's definitely one to watch. Moving along, Voyager Token, VGX, or I think it's BQX on Binance. They're going to be putting out their token swap this month, so good for them. Moving to, they just published a whole new white paper and everything. So especially if you're in the U.S. markets, that's one to check out. But yeah, moving along here, MetaBlock is going to be launching their mainnet. They're doing they're just upgrading their mainnet. But it's a big deal because we've talked about in the past how there's these like natural use case fits for blockchain, crypto technology. And, medical data is definitely one of them. It's definitely something that we've seen a lot of projects try to get this right, and there's been some mild success. But MetaBlock is doing some interesting stuff, and we'll see if they're able to do something more than just make hopes and dreams and promises. But for them to be almost outside of the top 100, I think they're doing a lot of good stuff. So it's definitely a project worth checking out, especially because they're doing their mainnet upgrade. All right, moving along here is Fetch.ai. Fetch is kind of in the name, it's an AI-based blockchain solution. And in particular, what you want to pay attention to, you just missed it, unfortunately, but there's going to be 2 more rounds of airdrops that will easily be a catalyst for price. We see it all the time. So it's also kind of a cool project worth checking out as well. Maybe not a good long-term hold right now, just because there's going to be some people taking the airdrops and selling them. I mean, it's a pretty obvious play. But it's definitely one of the better AI-based blockchain projects that I've seen in the space. So definitely one worth checking out. One that I'm really excited about is TrueFi. They're doing sort of like liquidity pools within the DeFi space. They're trying to kind of like almost like an investment pool, where you're just pulling your resources together, and they're automating a lot of that. It's kind of like the new wave of DeFi, where we're starting to get more towards aggregators, and I think TrueFi is a good example of that. So they're going to be putting out a lot of stuff in August, and it's definitely a project worth watching. Definitely a project if you're into yield farming or anything related to DeFi. I think definitely an exciting project to watch. Moving along, Pokedex is a peer-to-peer trading platform, also DeFi based, also doing some, I guess, introduction of new features this month. They're having like a trading bot deployment and dynamic staking. I'm not even sure what that is, but it sounds cool. There's just like a lot going on with this one, and frankly, there's a lot going on the Polkadot sort of ecosystem as well. So definitely something we've been talking about recently a lot, because even though Ethereum looks to be all set to go in 14 hours for the London hard fork, we won't know until we know how that goes down, and if all the miners are able to move over and all that stuff. It's a complicated thing, but it's the first of what is to come in terms of Ethereum 2.0, in terms of Ethereum upgrading itself, and hoping to scale and just be more interoperable and have better solution sets. So the competition's wide open right now. Projects like Cosmos, projects like Polkadot, we're definitely keeping our eye on because there's just there's a lot of opportunity out there right now for smart contract platforms. So it's an exciting space. And the last one I want to talk about is Stack OS. And Stack is pretty similar to, if you're familiar with a project called Golem, or really this idea of like distributed computing power, or shared cloud like resources, where you're just putting aside a little bit of either your storage space or your computing power of your computer. You're just letting it be rented out, basically, and getting paid as a result. So it's kind of like low effort, low intensity mining, where you're just getting passive income for the resources you already have just sitting around. So it's kind of a cool project, and it's kind of on fire right now. So it's definitely one I would check out if you want to maybe jump in on that. But yeah, they're going to be doing their mainnet launch on August 16th. So we should definitely see some good price action leading up to that, so long as the market is there to support it. All right. So otherwise, here's a cool little visualizer I found this week called coinparticle.com. And it gives us a good breakdown of what's trending, especially in the top sort of top 100, top 150 or so. And we can tell that it's Thorchain, Compound, Voyager's doing pretty well. Decred, Aave, some of the smart contract platforms like Ethereum and Neo. And then obviously we've been talking about gaming blockchain stuff. So Axie Infinity, AXS, has been on fire recently, maybe cooled off a little bit, but still is solidly within the top 50. And that's cool to see. I like that. I've been seeing people trying to make a play for like Engine as sort of a hedge on what Axie's been doing, especially this idea of like gamified NFTs. Cool stuff. I don't know if it's going to sustain now that we're kind of moving into discussion recently here in the States, at least, around sort of like this regimented regulation around the blockchain space, and there's a lot of uncertainty. So people are talking more about like tokenization and like almost what we were talking about a couple of years ago called security tokens, and just this idea of like, taking things and making them more regulated, more, capable of interfacing with the legacy financial system by updating and making sure that it's all transparent. That's kind of what tokenization, securitization, security tokens is all about. So yeah, it's still kind of nascent. It's still kind of, we'll see where this conversation goes, but yeah, that's kind of at the forefront of the crypto space right now in terms of like what's trending news. And it's not the most exciting, and there's definitely some fear and uncertainty and doubt associated with that. But I think it's going to be okay. I think for the most part, it's an effort to try to limit the scams and the frauds, the rug pulls. And yeah, I don't believe the government has any ability to do that effectively forever and ever. They're very good at bungling things like that. But I think it's important that innovation is never outpaced by regulation. So it's a give and take, and we'll see where things go from here. But anyways, that is a very quick overview of some of the top projects I'm watching in August of 2021. Still a choppy market, but I think there's definitely some breakout potential. So to talk more about that sort of perspective, I'm going to pass things over to Doc, who's going to look at the charts.
All right. Great job there, Mav. Great job.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, we have a little bit of fun here. All right, so let's take a look at the charts. I'm going to focus on the top 20 here, and let's see if we can find that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is Bitcoin versus the US dollar, and what I'm seeing here, and this is what I've been talking about with our members, is the fib retracements here of this potential swing, which started in the late part of July. And what we're seeing is, if I can get this thing printed, there we go. This is almost just a textbook fib retracement at 38.2. And we're getting some volume coming in here too as well. Now, what we have to see is we got to see the price take out the upside pivot here at 42. Otherwise, we might be running into a lower high, which is on the weekly chart. So anything can happen, but as long as we break above 42, that is a good continuation. And we're also starting to see the up days on volume. Notice this. When the market is going up, the volume is higher. When the market is going down, the volume is lower. That is positive divergence. That's the sort of thing that we want to see. With this, we're also seeing the energy returning here. Look at Ethereum taking off again. This is totally blowing away the old pivot from down here. So this is good. The volume is starting to come in. There is a little bit of a, since we've lost all the volume from China, we're not going to necessarily see all this dumping down here like that. So we're going to have to reset the floor for volume, but that's okay. Just briefly looking at some of the coins that are doing well, everything has about the same looking pattern. This is Polkadot versus the US dollar. This is looking great. This is Solana. Nice looking chart here. Some of the ones that we've been talking about, Mav talked about, Aave, this is looking really good. Some of the ones that we've been following have been the real rock stars lately, have been Axie Infinity, and look at the energy now on the daily chart. Unfortunately, the weekly chart energy is a little bit light, so if we do have a breakout from here, it may not be long lasting, as well as Hex. This is a good breakout. I don't like today's candle. It does look like potentially a shooting star. This one also needs a little bit of time to consolidate and work this move off, but so far, so good. Let's see if there's anything else that we saw here. Wow, there's Digitex finally coming in off the floor. Off the floor. That's terrific to see. Now, I did get a request from a member. Let's see, it was Roscoe, wanted to look at API 3, as well as Slade asked for that one as well, too. And this is a nice looking chart. I like how this one has been, it's been decimated by the weekly chart, but it's starting to transition into a weekly uptrend. And this is something that I tell you guys all the time is like, don't buy things that are heading down. Wait for it to bottom out and start to trend higher. And it actually is doing that. It's starting to break above 450, which is, that's good. So I would like to see it continue above 450. There's a lot of energy on the daily chart. The weekly chart is ready to go in whatever direction it wants to trend. So I do like this one. It looks good. And then in the room here, Seb was asking for, let's see, Tell, and we're going to have to do that versus Tether here, and that'll be fine. This one's a little bit ugly. Sorry, Seb. This one's still a little bit ugly. I'd like to see this one trading above 2.3 cents, 2.3 cents. So Telcoin versus, so this is going to have to, I would like to see this transition above and beyond this level here to put in a higher low, higher high combination and show a change in polarity back up to an uptrend. So that's my quick 5-minute. Let's see what, looks like a bull trap. Anything can be a bull trap. It depends on, so I'm assuming that what you're talking about, Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, I think that was in response to my comment that the government would screw up cryptocurrency regulation. And look, I'm not here to say, oh, the government's evil or blah, 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 any of that stuff. But I think empirically, we can just kind of see that those in Congress right now just don't get it. And that's where the perspective I'm coming from. Like Senator Warren today said that crypto markets might someday need bailout without proper regulation, which kind of shows you she has no idea what she's talking about.
No idea. Yeah, crypto assets too big to fail, right?
Yeah. So again, this is not like left versus right, whatever. I have no faith in the entire U.S. Congress to get this right, and it needs to be a process that's iterative. And, with the full sort of like working nature of the crypto markets and especially the US crypto industry to work with the rollout of that regulation rather than coming after, like Let's just take the Ripple case, for example, Ripple versus SEC. That's just been like a huge kerfuffle from the beginning. It is. It probably will go in Ripple's favor at this point. Is what I'm seeing, and I mean that's just kind of like, okay. So what was the point of that? What's the point of so publicly going after these crypto companies for trying to put forth something? And yes, they're towing the lines of securities law, but I think that has more to do with the fact that securities law isn't of this century. It was written almost 100 years ago. The Howey test is nearly 100 years old, and digital securities don't quite fit into those same sort of bounds and parameters that we would assign to something like, I don't know, like a stock or like a commodity or something like that. It's its own new asset class, and it needs to be treated like that. Sure, with the proper bounds, and we want to protect the average person from getting scammed and whatnot, but at the same time, we don't want to kill innovation and have brain drain, people leaving the U.S. because that's not productive for anybody. So, anyways, all that tangent aside, I think there's been a lot of sort of misplaced fear at the news this week. I saw some other YouTubers saying like, this is the scariest thing that's ever happened to the crypto space. This is, doom and gloom. And I'm just not seeing that.
Do we have enough fingers and toes to count all the times that we've heard this over the last 4 or 5 years? Like, hey, we're going to look into crypto. And all of a sudden we drop, 10, 20% or something like that. Various times, look at this. We only dropped just a few percent this time. It's like, here we go again.
Yeah. Yep. So what you're seeing is an like unstoppable force meet a sort of immovable object, but it's kind of it's slowly decaying, especially when we look at the larger context of like what has gone on in the last year or so in terms of Fed printing, and you just can't have it both ways. You can't talk about the sanctity of the U.S. markets and protection of the U.S. consumer and investor while also injecting boatloads of capital into the markets and basically just having them run amok in this like circus. It's insane. So I'm hoping that calmer minds prevail, and that we'll see common sense regulation come to the crypto space, at least in the U.S. It doesn't have to be. That's the greatest part about crypto, is that it's worldwide. It's 24/7. It's totally free. It's more free of a market, in my opinion, than a lot of the other ones out there. But that comes at a cost too. So we want to make sure that there's a balance in there, and that grandma isn't getting scammed on crypto and things like that. There's it's give and take. But I think there's a lot to look forward to in terms of just the maturity of the space, as it grows up, as it gets treated, like we want it to be treated, not as some fringe element, but as a real innovation force, a powerhouse of new financial and technology like possibility. I think that's exciting, and that's something that we want to foster, not limit.
When was the last time you heard an exchange get hacked?
It's been a while. Yeah, we haven't had anything super high profile for a while, and I think that's just one more sign of things are looking up, are getting better, and that's just the nature of things. Will we ever have a Mount Gox scenario again? Hopefully not. That was kind of the defining moment of one of the early phases of the crypto markets, Bitcoin's history. And I'm sure we're going to have other sort of catastrophic events over the next decade or so for the crypto space, but it always bounces back. And that's, I think, important.
We'll have events, but I don't think we'll have if you look at how impactful that one was, it was huge. But I think we'll have hopefully minor events going forward into the future as we get more best practice in terms of security put into these. Yeah. But that's going to be a huge tool to adoption. Adoption has always been the number one thing for this space, is getting more and more and more people on board, because somebody's got to be buying, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So look at the rhetoric that's going on right now in terms of the detractors. What do they often point to in terms of the bad parts about crypto? It's often either the energy usage or the criminal usage or things of that nature, and it's all so missing the point, I suppose. Or it's a magician's act, oh, pay attention to the boogeyman over there, and don't mind Big Brother coming in and trying to slowly erode your freedoms and liberties. No. Oh, it's all Bitcoin's fault. Yeah. So we have to be vigilant in that regard to make sure that the proper context, or the framing of things, is always put forth. But anyways, guys, we don't want to go on a super huge tangent here. This is always an interesting conversation to have about Bitcoin and the larger crypto space, but we'd rather talk about your questions. We've got about maybe 5-10 minutes left here, and just want to see what you guys want to discuss, because I think the crypto markets are in a promising spot. I think there's a lot to like about what's going on right now, but at the same time, nothing is guaranteed in the space. Certainly, the crypto space lives on volatility, so we want to hedge our bets as well. But yeah, let's see what you guys have in terms of questions, and then we'll close things out for the day.
I think Josh was asking for ALBT. So let me run this over here. ALBT, and we're going to just look versus the US dollar. Right now, that's a big ugly monthly chart. Weekly chart, so we're getting some, look at the volume coming in. That's enormous. Okay, so looking at the daily chart, big time volume coming in. So this is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. This is so first of all, we have rule number 3 coming into play. Descending patterns will eventually break to the upside. Descending patterns break to the upside on big volumes. So believe the volume when you see it. We got volume coming in, so that looks good. It's above the pivot high here at about 45 or so. I like everything about it. Right now is probably not a time to jump onto this thing because it's in exhaustion. I would like to see this do a little bit of backing and filling, a little high and tight consolidation at this point, set up the next move, build up the energy. But I like this one. This is a great example of something that was in a former downtrend, which is transitioning through volume back into an uptrend. QNT. All right, we'll take a look at QNT here. Let me find it first. Oh boy, look at that thing. All right, so let's jump over to here on. I love doing these things because you guys, we don't spend all day just looking for things that are breaking out. So this is great. This is a nice transition from sideways move into a nice breakout. That's on the daily chart. The weekly chart, there's really hardly anything there yet. So that's all good. $170 already, QNT versus US dollars. So a lot of volume coming in through the listing on Coinbase. What is in exhaustion is building out of that. So what I'd like to see this do is in the near term, I'd like to see this consolidate in this area from 150 to 190, allow the energy to build back up again, and then take the breakout above 190 where you can buy something in the bottom of the range, which is about 140 here. Okay.
Slade is, I think he's been the one who's been bringing up QNT in the last couple of calls, and I'm going to say I missed it. I saw this one as kind of a, very enterprise, a little bit boring, if I'll admit, kind of project, but wow, Quant is killing it. That is some good growth in the last couple of weeks. And yeah, as we talked about in the last couple of calls, when we brought it up, this is I would say this is like an IBM sort of competitor. This is like blockchain infrastructure, maybe akin to like an AWS or something like that. Like not something you get super excited about, but something you see as, you know, the skeleton, the backbone of blockchain's future. So yeah, I would say this is a very exciting one, and we'll continue to see if it can keep the momentum going, because yeah, what I'm seeing here, I'm really liking.
Okay, I just did L poll for Yusuf, and I'm going to take a look at Guinness Stash. Oh my God, what a great name, Guinness Stash. Everybody knows what that is, right? Let's see, track. I'm looking forward to getting a properly poured Guinness on my first trip to Ireland. Okay, so this is Origin Trail. And Origin Trail is actually building up a hell of a lot of energy here. This is currently still in a downtrend, but if we get a break above, I'd say 32, this thing could absolutely monster. So watch for this one carefully here on a break with volume. It's got to have volume, guys. You could look for the volume down here. It's got to have a massive break, and this thing will run. But it's building up a lot of pressure, a lot of potential energy down below about 35 cents. Okay, let's see what else we got here.
So there was a very interesting question about not security tokens, synthetic assets. Security tokens are kind of related to that, and if they have a promising future. And I would absolutely agree with that. I think that is, if we're looking like 5-10 years down the road, that's where I see a natural sort of fit for this increasingly speculative type market, just broadly speaking. What we've seen with the move, like Wall Street bets and going towards more and more of finance and technology. What we're eventually going to see is a move towards assets and equities, but specifically those that are synthetically based. So let's, as an example, I like to give, what you could do is bundle together a bunch of assets. Let's talk about like real estate, for example, and you could do synthetic derivatives on them. So you could, if you wanted to, bundle together the whole real estate market, like Hell's Kitchen in New York, and have that go long on Hell's Kitchen, or you could go short on Midtown or something like that. That concept doesn't exist right now, and it requires us to severely overhaul our system through things like tokenization, through things like moving to more digital mediums. But honestly, it's a very exciting possibility. In the short term, more interim, when we talk about synthetic assets, we're talking about maybe like baskets, bundles of like crypto tokens. So like a bunch of the smart contract platforms having a bundle of that. Token Sets is a project that has been doing this for a couple of years now, and they're doing awesome stuff. I've also really talked up Synthetics as another one that I really like. And anyways, don't want to digress here, but I think it's a really exciting, potential future sort of use case of the blockchain space, that it just is a natural fit. Cool. Quinta. All right. Thanks, Slade. I'll check that out.
Okay, I've tried to stay caught up here. I think we are good. I've been multitasking here. Does anybody else have any questions? Anything else you want to see? We don't want to drag out your evening. So thanks everybody for coming here today. Yeah, Uniswap. I want to see Uniswap volume above 24 here. I want to see this break. This is a good start, but the volume's tailing off, and I want to see this thing break out above 24 on big time volume. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're caught up. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Mav, do you have any closing comments?
No, I just, Ela was just talking about an email that Kraken just sent regarding how dangerous some of the conversation is right now regarding the infrastructure bill and all this sort of crypto stuff. I would just encourage people to be informed on it. Just read into it. And yeah, it's not a done deal by any stretch of the imagination just yet. It is a little bit concerning, some of the rhetoric that we've seen from certain senators and Congress people. But I think it's another thing. It's another hurdle that the space will get over. That's what it is adaptive, and we'll see it. I think we're going to close out this year pretty strongly. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. As always, we do this every week. If you want to get in contact with us or join the ReadySetCrypto community, don't forget to subscribe, as well as join our Discord in the link down below, as well as some of our free communities such as ReadySetTrade and ReadySetVision. The former being run by Doc here as a means to become a better trader and make the most of the rest of 2021 into 2022, as exciting as it is to look that far ahead. So anyways, hope you're doing well in these slightly opportune markets. I think we're starting to get a little bit spicy here. It's kind of fun. And hopefully your portfolio is in the green right now. But anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Cheers.
See you, everybody. Take care.